glad to have everyone back. Picking up here in our little farm loot slash white sand mines area of our city. Did a little bit of off-camera work, and I'll show you a couple things that I did. One thing, most importantly, I did add a hospital. The amount of messages that I was getting basically saying that citizens were sick is just, the whole zone was full. Even though I've added these smaller clinics or what have you, you know, it just wasn't cutting it. So I did have to add that in as much as I didn't want to. So I went ahead and put that in, and a lot of our houses have kind of filled in here, and what else? I messed around a little bit with the farms and laying down some trees. For the most part, I think we've stabilized in regards to, you know, like the worker messages and whatnot. So what I think we're gonna do, we're gonna move on just a little bit from here. We're not done. I know we're not done, but every episode in this same area is getting a little bit repetitive, and I do understand that. So we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna continue to kind of work on this and see if we can get some new crops growing and whatnot. I did screw around over here again. This is extremely tedious, but I showed you kind of in the last episode how to do that. You can kind of make rows. You can alternate. I'm looking to get some different plants and stuff like that too. Haven't really had much time to spend on the Steam Workshop, and I've created a little bit of a borderline here with the with some of the trees. So all in all, I mean, I think the area looks spectacular. But we are going to be moving on a little bit. I did add in a new intersection here that I did get on the Steam Workshop. For those of you out there that are wondering why I didn't make it myself, hey, I mean, I can make it myself, you know, but I choose not to because it takes too long. I mean, there's little things we can edit and out of here, but for the most part, I mean, this is one of the unique ones. It's unique because it kind of adapts regular city streets into the intersection. It looks like I didn't even realize that. It looks like we're elevated here just a bit, so we'll have to maybe lower that down, but that's no problem. Hoping we can maybe start our whatchamacallit here? Our our commercial slash residential downtown area over here. No more industrial for now. We've got rail lines too. I wanted to incorporate rail into the city. So my thoughts are, let's go ahead and let's get some roads laid down first, and then we can try to do some rail yards and stuff like that. I think that's pretty cool. Another thing we didn't really do over here is we didn't really add in a train station, which I kind of want to do that. Can we do that now? I think it would be cool for the train to kind of go through the center of town, you know what I mean? How could we do this? Think. This would be a cool spot for it. Like if we had the train come through here, or even right along. Huh. It's got me thinking now. I wasn't planning on doing that this episode, but now I didn't realize we hadn't even hooked this up yet until I just looked at it. Very interesting. Alright, let's see. Can we add in trains over here? This is probably going to completely decimate this small area we have over here, but it's going to be worth it in the end. Like, can we... See, that's what I'm... Oh yeah, it'll let you go through it. Okay. Well, let's fix this power line situation, otherwise we're going to have a complete meltdown. Because people don't know how to cope without power for 5 minutes. Okay. And let's see. Okay, so we will have to connect. This would it be easier? Because we already got a bridge over here. I think it'd be probably easier if we just went right along this road as well. That's not even connected. We'll fix that. And then if we went ahead... The good thing about trains is you don't really have to make overpasses over the other tracks. So if we just did something like that, we're gonna have to do both directions now. Remember that. And branch that off a little bit. I like the way that looks. Yeah. We'll get something laid down here for now, and then I'll tinker with it off camera. That looks pretty good. Okay, same thing. Now this side is usually easy. You can just do a straight shot. Something like that. So then the trains coming from this direction can hop on the bandwagon. Alright, I'll mess with that a little bit. I don't know if I really like that. But okay, so moving forward. One of you actually suggested to put this fusion plant down at the bottom here. Actually, might not be a bad idea. I'll have to work into and find out how I'm going to get power lines to run through. Because roads, I tell you what, this road even right here, I had to kind of, I don't know. It's not as easy as it looks, or at least I can't get it to go through. Let's go ahead and add. Oh, how did T intersections work with trains? Yeah, it won't let you do it. I didn't think so. So if we let's see if we can get that wrapped around there perfectly. That would be unbelievable. It's gonna be a little bit of a chore. That looks so lame. I'm sorry, people. I'm trying to think, would a train even like? I don't know. I'm not too familiar with rail lines. I'll have to look. Okay, so we'll worry about that. What I want to do though is I want to get the train station over here in this part of town. Like I said, I kind of want it to be. There we go. And I do have a rural station, which is actually pretty sweet. I can actually put it right along this road here. Let's see. We can actually make more than one if we really wanted to go crazy here. What am I doing here? Oh, that's right. So we need to continue. Showed you this in one of the other videos. So we're going to continue there. We're going to dig out the portion of the rail lines that we want, and then we're going to go ahead and put some roads in. This one should work a lot better than the last one we tried to do on the other side of town because it's not sloped. And then we'll go. And we're back. Sorry about that, people. My game froze. And then it came back to life. So wouldn't you know it? Alright, so what I was getting at is this is going to be a little bit easier. Well, I thought the land was flat, but you know what? We have our terraforming tool now, so I'm not stressing. Okay, now we can go ahead and take this out, and then we can go ahead and we can add in our... There you go. Take this out, and then flip it. Oh, actually, you know what? I screwed that up, people. One more time. This is real time. Forgot to draw the roads on the other end. So we're going to put that there. Now we got to draw the roads. Oops, snap tool. There you go. What is with the terraforming is out of control. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this. Actually, you know what? We're going to kick this road here. And then we're going to go ahead. We could flatten that out beautifully. And then that goes there. And then we just have to line it up. I'm going to have to mess with this terraforming tool. This is out of control right now. Let's see. Can we get something terraformed here? Wow. Can you believe this, people? a nice little slope. If this works, I'm gonna... Oh, look at that. Look at that. And then this one here, I guess we can do a little bit of the same. Oops. Don't need the budget panel. Perfect. And then we'll do some of the same over here. Outstanding. Okay, and then let's get rid of this road. And we can actually draw more dirt roads. You can just go straight there. And we're gonna leave that as a loose end for now. We're gonna find out how we're gonna connect that up. And you know what? I don't know if I really like that. Alright, but you get the idea, people. We're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna probably flatten out this land here and put it back in. But anyway, I wanted to do that just because I thought of it now. And same thing with this loose end over here. We'll get that fixed. Alright, moving on. So, back to what we were kind of wanted to focus a little bit more in this episode, this little downtown area here. And I left off also with the fact that this intersection here, or better yet, this this portion of the intersection actually ties in really nicely with the rest of the city here, and you're going to see. So what we're going to want to do, we're going to get some sort of road structure down. Okay. And this is kind of going to be a good anchor point for our road system. And we're going to really have to make up our mind what type of downtown we're talking about. Straight grid pattern is always a good choice. You know, I don't know. If you wanted to replicate a normal city, most cities have got, you know, the grid pattern. Other times what you can do is you can kind of, like the European type cities, you can have a lot of like roundabouts. The problem with roundabouts is the zoning isn't quite where it should be. It's a lot better than SimCity, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, it just doesn't seem to pan out well in the end. Best way to probably do it is to get like an overhead shot and try to link up and find out what works best for you. I think that's okay. Go out kind of this far here. And what do we got here? What kind of roads are these? This is just one-way streets, okay. And we can kind of follow this along. One-way streets are work really well in cities as well. They space already occupied. Oh, you know what that is? That's a it's one of these guys. Yeah. This is all skewed and off-center, so let's fix that. Should be about right. See if we can get these, we could upgrade these roads later. Probably want like every third or fourth street to be an avenue, separated by some one-ways. So if we go ahead and okay, something like that. And then we can do, let's see. We can always flip the direction of these roads as well, so I'm not letting me. That'll have to do for now. Slight little gap for God knows what reason. And then actually we can back this off, do it right, and then we can actually lay this elevated road in through the city as well. It's a little bit off, but it's not the end of the world. And then I'm thinking maybe this next street we can do another, can kind of alternate with these avenue types grids. That'll help to alleviate some traffic. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to wrap this episode up. I know it's a bit short, but reason being is I forgot to move some stuff around on my hard drive. So I think I'm panning into hitting maximum capacity on my hard drive right now. And I don't want the episode to cut out. I think that's why my computer was having issues a little bit earlier. Nevertheless, I'm going to continue with this. Actually, on my last video and on this video as well, I'll go ahead and post some links to Reddit. I've been kind of getting involved with Reddit a little bit more. So many people I know use it, and it's I see why. It's a great source for information. A lot of great people on there, and you know, for the city Skylines, the community is so great that you know, I really look forward to posting and hearing what people say, and I'm actually able to do the same thing with them. So like I said, we're going to go ahead. I'll continue with a little bit of this off camera. I don't want to do it all, but most importantly, I'm going to fix this whole rural station idea, and I'm going to do my best to kind of fix this nightmare. I don't know, this came pre-installed with the map or whatever, but I don't know, it looks bad in my opinion. Maybe it's not. And yeah, so let me know down in the comments below if you have any suggestions. I know I did read the fusion power plant at the bottom. We're going to work a little bit more on this, but what I want to do is I want to get this area kind of built up with more residents. So what we're going to have is we're going to have a boatload more citizens and only X amount of places to work, and that's going to kind of leave us a nice spot here to expand our white sand mines. Later on, we'll add education and maybe some office jobs, but those are kind of boring. So appreciate everyone for tuning in. Drop a like if you enjoyed the series this far, and we'll see you next time.